Okay, we're going live. I'm going to try it live this time. If you're on my channel, you could say hello. I got the chat screen open. And see how this goes. I got 100 pennies lined up. 100 bankroll pennies. Haven't had much luck lately, but that can change very quickly. I'm trying to get these. I've been struggling with trying to get these things open. Here we go. There's one. The other one. Sometimes they almost fall apart, and other times that they're digging in and you get ahead of it. And we're gonna see what comes up. Just lower the microphone. I guess it's all right. So we're dipping into the red area. I don't want that. All right. A little sneak preview here. Excuse me. And we're going to zoom on down and get into the microscope view. See if we can do that. Should be able to. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to bring this all the way down to the corner. And if you are a bankroll hunter, the ups and downs, goods and bads. Some days you get one roll and it's full of nice stuff, and next day you look and there's nothing. I'm going to center my microscope and get right to it. That looks pretty good. And here we go. This is 100 pennies from the bank. Bank rolls, they're commercially rolled. I got a bunch of them. I'll do here and there. Try to get ahead of them. I got too many. Alright, first one up, 79. Looks like a parking lot coin. That's the affectionate term for a coin that's been run over a few times. 93. Move my mouse out of the way. 93. Nothing interesting. I'm just going to bounce back and check, make sure we're centered. Yeah, we're looking good. I'll leave that right there. Alright. Back to the bank. 89. Nothing going on. 88. It's like a pond coin. I've been underwater a while. I don't know. Back to the bank. 03. Nothing there. 2016. Nothing there. 2000. We're going to look for that wide AM. Hopefully we'll see one. No, that's a narrow AM. You can tell by the distance right here. And narrow, the A would be closer to this T than it is to this one right here. If it was wide, these spaces, pardon my shaking. Under the microscope you see every little shake. They're a little wider. So you want the wide AM. on the 98 through 2000. Alright, 64 Denver. A nice looking coin. It's showing age wear and been around the block. I'm going to put it in the copper pile. Almost looks like a cud in the lower left area. Probably a delamination from the cladding, deterioration underneath. I can't say that's a cud. I'm not going to say it's a cud. But this is also a close AM. Send it back to the bank. 87. And you always want to, it's probably never going to happen, but always check these mid or early 80s. Throw them on a scale. You never know. It comes up as a copper, post 82. I mean, you got a coin. And so keep that in mind. It's something that could happen. The mint makes those kind of errors. And if you pick up a 87 copper penny, you got a nice hit. Not saying it'll happen, it's just, it's what dreams are made of. 81 copper. Nothing going on. '96. Nothing going on. 1970 Denver. Very ratty looking. In a copper pile. 2021. This vintage coin has an interesting feature that you do come across. It's a cracked planchet that comes down here across the bust and then through the VDB area. And sometimes they split. Oh, that's shaking. Sometimes they split right in this area. And, they fetch a nice, excuse the pun, penny. If you get one. I did get one. I ended up letting it go for $35. The guy snookered me. He said, "I'll give you 35." I said, "Well, it's an auction." And I put it as a fixed price. He grabbed it and turned around and flipped it for $2 1/4. Yeah, it was a nice one too. It was a 21, really nice shape, and it had a double split. But I found it. I said, "Oh, all right, it's cracked planchet." And little did I know, these things were going for some serious change. And he got me. But you know what? It was a penny to me. I mean, it was worth a penny. But now, I mean, in hindsight, I should have been a little bit more careful with that. But I said, "Oh, I got $35 for a penny. That's a good deal." There's another one. 21. But you know what? I'll tell you, at the end of the day, I'm probably going to get another one. I got 21s back to back here. I probably will. I'm not... No, another one. What was that, 3 in a row? I'm not like overly crushed over it, but yeah. What if you're selling on eBay? Watch for these folks. "I'll pay you this right now." Take a breather. Say, "All right, let me check it out." Hit the yes or no button. Whatever. I'm just gonna chalk it up as experience, because I found it early on when these were showing up, and I didn't check. I didn't check. I should have checked. But yeah, he flipped it. I saw it. The buyer had flipped it. 2 1/4. Oh, lesson learned. 93, 94. These are all close AMs, but 93, I would always keep an eye out. Um, if they slipped it in that 1 year, or 94, you always check. You never know. Just always look at that AM. You never know. That's how these things are stumbled upon. 84. Yes, it clearly looks like zinc. But we'll throw it on a scale anyway. 2.4. That is zinc. 2015. Oh. 2017. Philly. Nope. 07. Nothing going on. What do we got here? 94. Yeah, it's a close AM. It should be. I always take a peek at it. Yeah, don't pass on it quick. I've seen stranger errors, so you never know. Always keep a sharp eye out. Like you can see, this is a wide AM right off the gate. It's an 85. If you have a 94 looking like that, that's what I'm saying. 83. Now this is the one you want to put on a scale. If it is copper, this one is probably zinc, because in one you could see the zinc coming through. Well, most likely is zinc. If it was copper, that's the creme de creme, whatever they call that. The one you want. Well, here's an interesting 72. Here's a off center strike. 72. This year is known for some nice doubling, so you gotta always check these well. I mean, if you have a light shadow doubling, it's not gonna really get you much, but this got a nice bottle cap edging on the right, and on the left it's offset with the rim. So, it's a nice. I mean, it's nicer than just the standard 72. But honestly, unless you had a bucket full of these, make a few bucks on it. But this one, I'm just gonna let it pass. It's not a everyday occurrence to see this, but it also does not validate having any real value. So I'm gonna put it in my copper pile. Let the next person grab it. Give it a once over look. Make a decision. It's a nice looking coin. 18. I mean, how many are you going to hold on to? As I said, you got to have like a bucket of them. At least a gallon jug. 96. A little bit of woody going on here, but nothing. Poor man's doubling going on. It's like sounds like a pressure issue with the cladding, like a chatter, but nothing there. They're common in the mid 90s. You get them. 94 Denver. Here's another one. The nose, you can see, has a little bit of a chatter around the head. It's not really anything that's going to have value, but it's common in the mid 90s for some reason. I think the plating, the composition was a little off or weak. I don't know. I have no idea. 85. '05. It's a mess. I'll to the bank. 96. A little off center. Nothing to get excited over. 76 Denver. Typical for its age. Off to the copper pile. 2017 Philly. I've seen these are showing up with the die clash. You gotta look in the field area to see if that shield is coming through. It's something you want to keep an eye on. And it has to be pretty, predominant, obvious, to have any real value. And if you have a little die clash, depends on how predominant, how hard of a strike it was. There's another poor man's shadowing, doubling, 97. Very typical for this vintage. Nothing special. 22 with the machine edge wear. That'll be from the coin machine that wraps them. A quick trip through the dryer, I don't know. So, see, a lot of these commercially rolled up coins have that from the machine. 07 with a nice shine to it. I don't know what causes that. It almost looks like a varnish, but nothing special really. It has like a proof luster. See that on a lot of the early 60s too. 2020. Nothing there. Let's regroup. A little shuffle. Here we got 22. There. 13. Nothing there. 93 Denver. Again, you always look at that AM. This is close where it should be, where it's expected to be. And always check. I'll be check until the cows come home. 21. Nothing. But you never know. 94. That looks like a little die crack. It's interesting. These have that's a rim crack. This one actually is nice. It's protruding past the lettering on the top, and it's a double too. It also has a little bit of crack on the bottom left. Interesting. This coin can actually be listed as a mint era, and I'll put this one aside. I'll throw it up on eBay. You see them a lot with these rim issues. With the indentation at the top, they'll run almost sometimes right around the coin. This one looks like it had a little trauma, where you had one. It was a break in the die, not in the die, but in the stamping, and then it skipped, and hit it again. It had like a jump, and here we have a actual crack in the cladding or the planchet. May want to. I might throw this one in the ultrasound just to verify that crack, but yeah, no doubt that's the typical rim crack you see. on the top. This is actually a nice one, so I'm gonna put that one aside and put it up on eBay. I'll get 10 cents for it. Huh. Probably. I gave up trying to list things for $1. They just don't move. I start my bidding at a penny now. Actually selling some. Oh, I'm selling them for 10 cents. I don't care. You know what? Every penny I have sells for 10 cents. That's 1,000%, right? Ain't gonna happen. That's it, 93. Again, that's a close AM where it should be. What do we got here? There's a pond coin. Yeah. Put that back there. Alright. Let's get something exciting. Please don't just be that 94. 2016. It could be. 23. You look for that extra V. Yeah, unless they stand out really well, you start seeing unicorns. I call them. It looks like it might be a V. I don't know. What does it look like to you? Oh, let me hold in a certain angle. You can check it out. Actually, I got one sitting right here that I found the other day. I'll pull it out just to show the verifiable. There's a V right there. This is actually a worn die, but you can clearly see the V. It's not a great specimen, but that's basically what they look like. You have to really look for it. Put it that way. I've seen better ones, but it's kind of what they look like. 02. Close AM. 06. I don't think 02, 01, 02 is going to have the wide AM anymore, but you just never know. You always look, say, hey, it's supposed to be like that? You look at enough coins, you don't want to fly through them. Each one has a potential. Like this one has a cracked planchet from the bottom of the sea. And it doesn't look like a scratch. It's not on top of the sea. So it could be a mild cracked planchet, or a cladding, cracked cladding, cracking a cladding. Is it worth $1 million? No. But what I do with these, even though it's not copper, it does have a little bit of a value over 1 penny. I'll put it in my copper. I put aside copper pennies to sell by the pound. This is going to be one of those modern spiked eras that I spiked the coins with modern eras. It's not an extreme era, but you know what? It's there. It's worth more than a penny. And my bulk pennies I sell, the copper, they're always over a pound, so it's not like it's going to rob them of their copper. This almost looks like a cut on the left, but it's not. More cladding issues. 73. Copper. 22. 22. Well, nothing there. Come on, guys. Do me something here. 86. 85. There's a clean field on this one. There's really no damage at all, very little. Actually, a nice looking coin for its age. And clean lines. It is zinc, but we're going to throw it on a scale just to check. Can you imagine if that turned out to be copper? No, it's zinc. Again, it's really not worth anything, but it's not an ordinary 85 you see in a circulation. So, am I going to put it aside? No, I'm going to send it back to the bank. After a while, you end up with so much, to deal with. I could have put it in a copper pile, but there's no error. It's just a nice looking coin. Is it worth getting graded? No. If it had a doubling on it, yeah. But it doesn't. Well, it's kind of where you draw the line. Yeah, nice looking coins. It's a nice looking coin. 2018. Well, it's gonna be a little die clash or something. Jeez. You got a little heaviness there. Let's see, 2019. Muddy. What do we got here? 75. Well, typical for that vintage. 98. Let's look for that AM. No, it's not a wide. Hey, 82 large date with a little off center, nothing crazy. Let's determine whether it's copper or zinc, and it is copper. It goes into the copper pile. 2017. 2000. Close AM. Nice toning, but okay, 92. Now this one, we want the wide AM. I'm sorry. We want the close AM. See, I'm getting bleary-eyed with this stuff. This one is the wide AM. You can tell the T in states TA. That, oh, my hand's shaky. That space and that space are consistent. In the wide AM here, that's consistent, as well as the initials are close to the building on a wide AM. Alright. So that's not what we want. 92. 94, Denver. So that's a close AM. You see the FG is far off the building, which is now verifying that's a close AM, as well as the. It was good. This coin came right after the 92. The A and the T are wide here, but over here they're close. Right? And the initials are further off the building, and the AM are touching. So this is a close AM. And for this vintage, the 94, Denver, that's what you would expect. If it was a wide AM, you have a nice coin. That's not the one. And there's not I've really haven't heard of any wide AM 94s out there, but you never know. Here's the 82 large state. Again, check for copper, and it is copper. 23. See, this is a good example of a unicorn V, an extra V that's a unicorn. You almost say, hey, that looks like a V. Right? It looks like two of them. That's not it. 23. Yeah. I don't know what caused that extra V, but it is what it is. 21, 20. I'm not totally on board of it being authentic to begin with, but you do see the V. Another one, no V. Yeah. I'm not going to try to figure it out. 90. What's going on? 17 Philly. Looks terrible. Okay, 72 Denver. Gonna have to get a good look at this one. This is off center, and well, unfortunately, it's got the damage on the head, but it doesn't matter because there's no doubling going on. And the back looks like heck. It's a parking lot coin. So off to the copper pile you go. 22. Then 19. Nothing. A few fingerprints. 75. Nothing. 74. Nothing. 16. Nothing. Oop, on the floor. 18. Nothing there. And coming down to the nitty gritty. 79. Yep. A nice looking coin for its age, but nothing going on. And last coin. 01. 01 Woody. Very mild Woody. 01. Hit on the back too. Nothing really here going on. I mean, you know, it's not super typical, but does it have really any value? No. I let it go. I've seen some woodies that really stand out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another roll. I was just going to do two, but being I'm live, I'm just going to keep going. If you're watching, you know, hope you don't mind. Let me look at I have to check my streaming hardware and see if anybody is watching. Let me do that. I'm on the microscope, so I can't see it. Right. Live chat. Nobody's here. Yeah, I'm here, home alone again. And let's see my chat window. I'll put the chat. Put this one on. The other chat. I'm gonna do that. I think I'm confused how all this works. Oh, participants. Yeah, me. All right. I wouldn't even know how to chat. All right. I'm gonna open up 2 more rolls. There we go. Because sometimes it's actually easier to go live and let YouTube record it. Excuse me. Than to put it on your drive and then upload it and this. Just, I mean, you could edit it that way. You could also, edit the live version, but, do that afterwards. I don't expect anything weird to happen when I'm live, but if I do find something live, let's see, what's that? It'd be kind of cool. Alright, I'm going to go back to the microscope view. Alright, what do we got? 72. Copper. 76. Look at the toning on that one. Groovy. Yeah, it's actually nice toning. There we go in the copper file. 2019. Yeah. Come on. 2016. Oh. 72. Oh. Let's see, let me try some. I don't know why. Figure this out. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Go back here. I don't know why. Look at the chat again. No, don't want that. Get rid of that. Maybe that'll work. See, I can't chat in this window here. I guess I could do it on YouTube's website. I'll worry about that another day. Alright, let's go back to the hunt. 78 offset rimming, not terribly. And 17. I'm gonna check to see if I can actually see that. Well, I'm not. It's so unprofessional. Here we go. Yeah, it looks good. Alright. Let me get back to it. 1990. $2017. $92. Wide AM. $78. Typical, but better condition. $93. And close AM. 2023. No extra V. T90. $86. The rim chatter. Nothing. 75. Parking lot coin. Oh, there you go. The 4th of July. 2018. Nothing. Oh, there we go. There's a wheatie. 46 Denver. A little off-centered. No issues. It's good to see them pop up. I'll put it in the wheat penny pile. 68. Now that letters in the rim, that's very common. Letters in the collar. And 68 vintage. I get excited over that. $16. Oh. 1982 large date. There you on the scale. And it's copper. 86. I'll tell you on the scale. Oh, I'm missing my bucket. I don't know why. 88. A little bit of grease on this one. 88 Denver. Looks like it was struck through a piece of bologna. I mean, it's really not something to put aside, but this is an example of a little heavy grease, struck through grease example. And if it was any more intense, I would consider putting it aside, but I'm not. It's not a, sought after. 22. Maybe it is. I don't know. Let it go. 86. '02. What a hole in it. 97. '72. A deep strike on that right. It has bottle cap edges. not that hard, but I mean, it's there. Nice, nice indentation. Lincoln. Abe. Alright. Goes into the copper pile. 2017. PMD. 2002. Looks like folding the cladding. Not, not very collectible. 80. Copper. 79. Damage in that one. Yeah, it's definitely got hit. Look at that E too. Huh. Yeah, it's definitely PMD. That's not from the mint. I guess you can't say definitively. Yeah. 79. Copper. 98. Here's another example of the poor man's doubling. Look at that 8. It really does have a nice double edge to it, but it's not uncommon. You just check for that wide AM and it would make that coin worth something. Not a whole lot, but worth more than what it is without. It looks like a little spike head on the T. Yeah, that's a spike head. Let's go. And it runs up around the top of the trust. This one, honestly, the condition of the coin that makes me decide that I'm just going to let it go, because you do get quite a bit. 21s with spike heads. Through the W and runs right down the head, down through the ear. So this one, though, it's in a different spot. I'll throw it in with the copper. Let them decide what they want to do with it. I don't sit there and try to pawn it off as something of value. I mean, it's uncommon. It's common, but not typical common. Hope that made sense. I'm flapping now. 72. Denver. Copper. Stop going stir crazy doing these coins. 90. It's saying weird stuff. I forget that I'm live. 81D. Copper. 18. 71. San Francisco. I don't see anything going on. A little off center on the back. A little off centering on the front. We're going to put this one in the copper pile. Let the folks that buy the collector, if they're collectors and they buy the bulk copper, they're going to get, I'm not going to take that one out and say, oh, no, it's worth 5 cents. I'm not going to do that. I'll put it in there. Like I said, you end up with buckets of coins. Say, alright, what do I do now? 22. Hard enough getting rid of stuff that has any value. I can't figure that one out. I just shipped out a 1944, 45 wheat cent that had, it was struck over a screw, a brass screw, and you could see the screw. I got 10 cents for it, and that is insane. But you know what? I'm going to hold on to it forever, right? It had a screw going right through the Liberty. It's a tiny screw. I don't know what it was for. Someone's glasses or something, but I mean, you look at it, it was a screw. All right, it's 82D large date. So let's see. It's probably copper. Let's check. 10 cents. I'm gonna see that on eBay. Someone selling, bidding crazy bids. Yeah, this is a large date. You could tell by the 8, the 2, the lettering, the spacing of the 2. It's not a small date. Put it in the copper pile. 2015. I think I see another wheat penny here. Hold on. I do. And it's a 20s. A 24. That's 100 years old. It's been around the town a few times. I don't see any issues. Oh, it's a nice old 100-year-old coin. Alright, into the wheat penny pile. 67. I said these bankrolls, I've gotten Indian head pennies in these. Not many, but you get them. 67. That was not too far off. Copper. 21. Oh. I mean, is that 24 wheat back worth anything? No. Probably 3 cents for the copper. Maybe because it's a 24, 100-year-old penny, maybe it's worth 5 cents. But no, it's not really worth anything. Yeah, 89. Very typical, actually. Now look at that off center, huh? 82. That's up there in the more than 3%. Let's say close to 5. Into that "In God We Trust." This one we could put aside. Really surprised there's no extra rim up there. You see a little bit, but you can say it's a 4% off center. No doubling, nothing. It's odd how this happens. But 82, and it's copper. Yeah, I could put it on eBay. Start an auction at 1 penny, and I probably have to put it back up 6 or 7 times before someone bids a penny for it. But it's a cool looking coin. I feel better if I just put it in my copper pile and let some kid find it and say, "Wow, look at this coin I found." And trying to auction it off for a penny. So 1982, Copper Abe, you are going into my copper pile. That's what I do. It might be worth 5 cents. I don't. I sit there. I think I get more, enjoyment knowing that a kid, young coin collector like I was, I was 6, 7 years old. Maybe, when I became like 10, 11, I got really big into coin collecting. If you find something that looks crazy and unusual, get all excited. A lot of fun. I'd rather let that kid get the excitement and try to sell it for 5 cents. Hope you get it. That's the way I look at it. There's another one, 1980. This one's less severe, but sit there trying to sell it off to the kid. 23. Nope. 17 Denver. Nope. 92. Let's see. Something odd looking about this, but everything looks like it's in order. 92 wide AM. Where it should be. 2020. Nope. 15. Nope. Step this up a little bit. 2020 Denver. Nope. I think I'm gonna just finish up this and move on. 73. We'll see. Copper. 81. It's times like this you get stuck in like a quagmire. Like nothing's happening. Like I haven't found a good coin in a while, and just like that, something pops up nice. That's how it happens. 74 copper. If you do any kind of coin hunting, whether it's regular change or from the bank, you know exactly what I'm talking about. 2000. 23. Six. Oh, 4. Sipping my coffee. Oh, that's better. Ooh, getting thirsty. 21. Nope. Let's see what this one is. 23. Huh. What a mess. 22. 1980. Into the copper. 06. 83 Denver. Let's check the weight on that one. No, I think I saw a little die break whatever, crack planchette by the building, going through the E, a crack in the cladding, um, a very weak cladding, or something going on. But the coin is such a mess, it's not worth it. So, 2019. Let's see what we got here. 78. A little off center. $95. There's a little woody going on, nothing serious. 94. Same thing, nothing. $18. $17, Philly. $22. The coins, if they're mint state, basically untarnished, just give them a little extra look in case you do get a nice little die clash or something. Being that the quality of the coin is a little better, it would, make it worth something. So that's always something to keep in mind. Let's give it a little better look at. Like this one. I don't know what it is, 23. See, that's that unicorn V I talk about. That's like the cloud. See a lot of those. Nothing going on. 88. Parking lot coin. 79. I'm gonna check for a rotated die. No. Copper. T90. $22. $21. Could be a spike head. It's not worth it. Ratty. 87 Denver. It's got that outward pressure strike from the grease on the left. It's not really defined enough, but some of them can be really nice to look at. It's just presented as a grease strike. This one has a little bit on the left. Also, the pressure caused the cladding to buckle up a bit, giving it like a woody effect. That's what's going on. This actually is not a terrible coin, maybe one to hold on to, but what are you going to sell it for, a penny? 2 cents. 2 cents. 87 Denver. We'll let it go. 2012. Another 12. Alright, getting down to the end here. 95. cladding issue. Might be a small cut, but it's not. 2000. Close AM. 95. Nothing. 04 Denver. Nothing. Down to the last three. 23. Nothing. 96. Nothing. And finally, a 22 Philly. With a big stain on it. Well, it was depressing. So we got a couple of wheat pennies. And a 23 and what was it, 46 Denver? I forget. And a couple of interesting looking coins, but nothing really worth putting for sale on eBay. And yeah, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. You know, if you stuck it out this long, watched my video, my live broadcast, thank you for watching. If you want to see more, I'll have more, and I'll point out if I do find anything extraordinary in the description after the live broadcast, and you know, let you know. So this way, you want to see the rerun, say, hey, there's nothing going on. Well, I'll put it out. Say a couple of wheat pennies, you know, nothing serious. But if you want to subscribe, please do. You know, hit the thumbs up, or say hello in the chat or in the comments below. I appreciate you all for watching. You take care.